Chapter 63. No. That's impossible. Dahlia thought. She denied the notion as soon as it emerged. Apart from his good looks, Dustin was just an average man. There was nothing special about him. Mason, on the other hand, had not only taken over Sir Spanner's position and had authority over the Dray group, but he also had hundreds of henchmen at his beck and call. Why would he be intimidated by a small fry like Dustin? She must be delusional. Mason's kicks and punches rained down on Mr. Chauncey unceasingly, causing him to spit blood. He saw no other way to it than to give Mr. Chauncey one a good beating for fear that Dustin would do him in out of wrath. "I'm sorry, Sir Sims, I was wrong. Please stop, I'm begging you, please stop." Mr. Chauncey cried out between wails. Mason only stopped after he sneaked a glance at Dustin and saw that his countenance was much calmer than before. He counted himself lucky that there was a scapegoat. He would have been in a bad spot otherwise. A fat lot of use apologizing to me. If Ms. Nicholson does not forgive you, you will not see tomorrow. Mason scolded harshly. "I'm terribly sorry, Ms. Nicholson. I was wrong, it was all my fault. This will never happen again. Please forgive me." Mr. Chauncey was on his knees as he begged for forgiveness. Long gone was his unbridled arrogance. "That's enough. Don't ever let me see you again." Dahlia uttered frostily. "Yes, I'll get lost right this instant." He nodded incessantly and dashed for the exit. He did not even stop to retrieve his shoe that fell off on his way out. "My apologies, Ms. Nicholson. The blame is on me. He offended you because I have not disciplined him well. I will reflect on my mistakes." Mason smiled apologetically. He was a smart cookie. Knowing that Dustin always maintained a low profile, he did not blow his cover. "How fair and just you are, Sir Sims. I'm impressed." Dahlia gave a slight smile. "Oh no, I'm only doing what's right," Mason replied with a guilty conscience. "HMPH, at least you know where you stand," Matt announced haughtily. "Had Dahlia been harmed in the slightest today, I would not have let you off the hook." "No, I wouldn't dare," Mason continued with the same apologetic smile. He had no idea who Matt was, but seeing that he was with Mr. Rhys, Mason was sure he wasn't someone to be trifled with. "Take your men with you and scram. Such eyesores," Matt said condescendingly. Mason dared not retort. He peeked at Dustin for a brief moment before taking his leave. In no time, all his lackeys dispersed. Once again, Matt saves the day. Florence's eyes lit up as she smiled excitedly. "Dahlia, did you see that? Wasn't Sir Sims cocky earlier on? But once he saw Matt, he got so scared that he was just short of peeing his pants. And that's how powerful the Laneys are." As soon as she said that, the realization dawned on the crowd. No wonder Sir Sims was terrified. "We have a big shot here. I wonder who that attractive man is. It's amazing how he scared Sir Sims off like that. He's handsome and he's powerful. How does one even resist a man like that?" A few ladies in the crowd fawned over how charming Matt was. The Laneys are, after all, a powerful family of the nobility. "I think we have a say on what goes on around here. Dealing with a mere thug is no big deal." Matt smiled, feigning modesty. "It's no big deal to you, but it would definitely not be an easy feat for some people." Florence then looked at Dustin out of the corner of her eye and said cynically, "Hey Rhys, Matt here just saved your life. Are you not going to thank him?" "Why should I thank him?" Dustin could not seem to fathom it. "Why?" "Well, had Matt not dealt with Sir Sims, do you think you could get out of this unscathed?" Florence asked as she crossed her arms. "First things first, I did not need his help. Secondly, he had nothing to do with me getting away," Dustin said. "HMPH. How stubborn." Florence then continued, full of disdain, "Matt just saved you, and not only are you unappreciative, but you're also boasting so shamelessly. Have you no conscience?" "Precisely. What's wrong with him? That is so rude of him. He's not even thanking the person who saved him. Should have left him to fend for himself. A few girls crowded around were outraged by the injustice toward Matt. From the way they saw it, Dustin was plain ungrateful. Forget it, it's just a small matter. Let's not make a fuss, Matt said with a wave of his hand, trying to look magnanimous. Oh, Matt, you're just too kind. Ungrateful bastards like this one here deserve to suffer. Florence was indignant. I simply saved him for Dahlia's sake. Matt smiled slightly and turned to look at Dustin. Speaking of which, I should be the one thanking you. Thank you for taking care of Dahlia in my stead for the past 3 years. Matt appeared to be thanking Dustin, but his words seemed to carry a different meaning. From what he said, he had staked his claim on Dahlia, making her his. Well, if you're thanking me, why don't you kneel before me? That's not too much to ask for, is it? Dustin challenged. Matt was at a loss for words. His eyes narrowed ever so slightly. I was just playing nice. Does he really think I'm easy? He thought to himself. Hey Rhys, I'm warning you, you better watch your mouth. Florence was furious. Dahlia remained silent, but her brows furrowed too. She thought that Dustin had crossed the line too. After all, Matt had helped him out of a dire situation. Even if he wasn't grateful, he should at least be polite. Dustin, you were able to win her hand back then because I went abroad. But now that I'm back, you will not have the chance anymore. Matt lowered his voice as he approached Dustin. Is that so? I beg to differ. Dustin shrugged. You should know where you stand. You and I, we're in totally different leagues. Matt straightened out his suit and looked down his nose at Dustin with scorn. Can you even begin to comprehend how vastly different we're in social standing? Everything that you dare not even dream of having is within my grasp. And that is the difference between us. He spoke in such low tones that his words were only audible to the both of them. I do not know where you got your inflated ego from, but if there's one thing you should know, it's that you do not mess with me. There was no trace of emotion on Dustin's face. Matt sniggered meanly. Very well, we shall see then. He reached out to pat Dustin on the shoulder when he paused midway, reconsidering his decision and retracting his hand slowly as though the act would soil his hand. The simple gesture itself was packed with a ton of humiliation. All right. Let's not waste time conversing with the likes of him. How about I treat you to a good meal at Hillview Hotel to celebrate your return? Florence suggested with a smile. I would be honored. Matt turned around and his innocent facade was back in place again, a smile plastered on his face. Come on, let's go then. Without another word, Florence led Dahlia away. Dahlia turned to speak to Dustin but failed to find the right words to say.